All right, everyone, welcome to night one of the collective. If you're here trying it out, great. You can see if we're for you. If we're not, no problem. Go find some fun somewhere else. Yeah, right. I'm just kidding. No, seriously, if this is not for you, totally fine. We are a vibe. I get it. Some people may not like it. Some people love it. But whatever it is, tonight's a free class of you learning content. So if not anything else, let's go. We always tell you how far along you are in the collective. And tonight, after tonight's class, there's 24 classes total. So after tonight's class, you'll be 4% the way through. So this circle will slowly fill in. Very reinforcing. All right, getting started. Yo, we are excited AF to meet you. Um, we it's actually so crazy because usually we have 2 weeks in between collective cycles and we do it 4 times a year, and there's a little bit of a break. I know that you guys and the last class just ended literally 4 days ago on Wednesday, and we're back here again. And it's always really exciting being like, oh my gosh, there's a whole new group of students that we get to work with. Hopefully, we're like, I hope this is a good group. Um, so hopefully you guys are going to be a great group. Usually we are, but by great group, I mean people who are engaged, interested, willing to be in on the studying. That's what really matters to us. So to get to do this over and over again is honestly the best feeling. So we're so excited to meet you and for everyone to be here. By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm Liat, and I will tell you more about that in a little bit. But I've been running SNABA for the last since 2018. I started SNABA, so I've been here a while. I love teaching, and there's other people you're going to meet along the way who also do a lot of the teaching and love it too. So we're just excited for a new group of students. If you're here, just know you're in the right place. This is what we do. But what we really love to do, and what I could honestly say that we get off to, is helping you pass. Like every time that I am on Instagram or I get on LinkedIn or I get in any of these places and someone tells me like they passed the test, I literally could feel that feeling again of hearing that I passed the test. I mean, you lucky guys get to know immediately. We used to have to wait 45 days. And I just remember that feeling of being like, what? Like, I know from the beginning of grad school, when you sign up, they tell you you're going to have to take this test one day. And from that day onward, you're stressed out, being like, am I taking in enough in my classes? Am I working hard enough? And from that day on, you're stressed out. And you're like, I don't, but I just want to tell you, if you're here, you're in the right place. All that stress, and you're like, did I do enough in grad school? Did I listen? Did my supervision suck? I always tell this to people, I mean it in the nicest way, but you're not special. And it's very sad that you're not special because we hear of so much shitty supervision and so many shitty ABA programs. Um, and so we have created this to hopefully correct that and quality correct that you are going to learn this shit inside out and be excited about it. So if you're someone nervous, you could take a deep breath. Now is the time that like we literally have been studying for the last 10 years and cumulatively between all of us, maybe for the last like 30. Okay, here's the SNABA team. This is our yearbook. Me, you could see like I'm like the popular girl, with like the angel wings. You actually could find me in angel wings lately. Like the hot popular girl, that's me. Then we have Danielle. She's kind of like she's kind of punk and like always
I never know where this is going to go when you
shops at
say
Hot
this is
Topic.
Danielle, and it's so questionable.
She's got like shops at Hot Topic, but she's like actually like always tries being a rebel, but she's actually like really smart and like knows her shit, but like tries being dark and like emo about it. So she's like usually playing and like getting tattoos and shit over here. Then we have Kara. She's like, Miss Perfect. She's like tall too. So she's on every single volleyball team and like basketball. She's like switches off per season, could just really put her in anywhere. She's sweet, super positive, nice. Then we have Jessica, and she's like literally a teacher's pet. So I'm gonna draw an apple next to her because that's actually how we found Jessica. She was a teacher's pet in the class, and like anything we said to do, like, okay, do this reading, she had done it. Do take these notes, she had done it. She had done all of it. She leaned in, and therefore now she's working with us at SNABA. But by the way, I could say that about anyone who is that you're seeing over here. Danielle will break this shit down for you like you've never heard it before. And I always say about Danielle, what I love about her is that that's an example of like when the student surpasses the teacher. Like the way that she breaks this stuff down now and has worked so many hours one on one going through this stuff. I mean, if you had to like have like a buddy to take the test with to like help you pass, I would definitely pick her. Um, Julia's a creative. She usually is like like lighting sage and burning crystals on the side. That's a crystal, and that's
100%.
sage. And
You
that's a
need to draw
joint.
like a dream
She's,
catcher with
even when
Julia.
she's not high, you think she's high because it's just like what? That's Julia for you. She's like super creative. Anything that you see that is like graphic or detail or digital or anything on our site or like a really something like bright made, it's Julia. Then there's AJ. AJ is also my ex-boyfriend. But you know what? He never would commit to me or marry me. So I just made him work for me. And so AJ is all things operations and anything that require a lot of work. This is not a joke. I really did date AJ. It was a situationship long enough, but now he works with me. Great, great guy. Now I just tell myself he's not for me. Jordan, on the other hand, Jordan is also a bestie. And I met her in Austin, and she is actually my first student because she was studying for the BCBA exam while I was still in my program at FIT. And so I used to sit and make her listen while I would teach it to her. So Jordan, she's all things CEUs. She is type A. That's why she runs CEUs because CEUs requires that we actually like maintain like perfect credentialing and meet all the dot the I's, cross the T's. That's Jordan. Um, she's great. And when you're ready for CEUs, we have so many over there. Martha. Martha is literally sitting next to me. That's me on my right. Or I guess it'd be the other right on the other side. She's literally my right hand. Martha does everything. Martha came in an English major, knowing nothing about ABA, just working as my right hand, literally in the office. And now she is anything that seems like it's in order between at SNABA, between her and AJ, it's coming together.
I'll
So,
say it wouldn't run
Martha,
without Martha.
as she's watching class right now, she's wanting to make sure everything runs smooth. So that's everyone here. That's our yearbook. You never know, maybe you'll be added to our yearbook one day. Um, and yeah, so now you know all the characters behind SNABA, and you can see all of us have the same wallpaper in the chat if there's anyone you want to talk to. AJ, you're here. Say hi. Danielle, Kara, everyone wave.
Hi.
Hi.
Julia. You like that, AJ? What I did for you? You like that? Yeah.
It's nicer this time than the last time, I'll be
I
honest.
Oh,
know.
okay.
I mean, it was still, I feel like it had more love in it this time, the shade
Yeah.
did, than it did
I
last
I don't
think
know
I
what it
had
did
I think
last
I
time.
had devil horns last time, so we're doing
You did.
Oh, did I not
here's
draw
some
anything on him?
a heart. We're
You
doing
drew a
okay.
Oh, it's
heart. I feel like you should
situationship.
have drawn the broken heart.
Yeah, that's it. That's better. There you
There you
go.
go. Now it's perfect.
All right. Okay, so just so you know, between all of us, we are here for you. In case you don't know, and I've noticed that going to a lot of conferences this past year, that people don't realize that us Study Notes ABA are the same people on Behavior Bitches. That's me doing Behavior Bitches podcast. If you are studying and you want to listen to interesting things that aren't necessarily just me reading the Cooper book at you, listen to Behavior Bitches podcast. We have people come on about all different topics, dominatrixes. What else do we have? What are your favorite ones in the office? Anyone? We have dominatrixes, ex-pimps,
I like the,
Serial killers.
I
body
was going to say
language,
that one is
serial.
my favorite. The serial killers one, where
We
you
talk
relate
about
it to the
serial
core functions
killers.
of behavior.
Yeah. So all these different things, you should definitely go subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's a good way because you'll just listening to a regular conversation and then I'll stop mid-combo and be like, by the way, that's matching law. The killer choosing to kill him versus her, you know? All right. So then we have CEUs, which is Pavlov. Pavlov, by the way, is my French bulldog, who's the logo of everything. When you've passed and you miss us so much, you're going to want to come back to us for CEUs. We have a huge library of people outside of us also teaching CEUs. And pair ABA, don't worry, the logo is going to be cuter soon. I'm well aware. Gym meeting tomorrow. That is how we are helping place people who pass the test with clinics that don't suck. Because unfortunately, I've heard a lot of bad things about a lot of places. And so I am wanting to highlight the good places that are doing good work. So whenever you're in that position, we're here for you too. Woo! Okay, that was a mouthful. But now for the breaking news. Studying doesn't have to suck. For the longest time, I know all of us have this association that studying sucks. Like it's like, oh man, bummer, dude, that you're studying. Believe it or not, studying does not have to. And in fact, our goal is to make it enjoyable. Something that you're like, wait, the collective's over? Shit, like what am I going to do now? Like I actually was having a good time. I was in my fun, artsy, whimsy, creative era. I was taking so much in. This should be a good time of your life, not like, oh my God, I remember when I was studying for the boards. So that's our goal here. And hopefully you feel it too when you're studying with us. And we do our best to make sure that you really actually enjoy the process, not just survive it. But now, everyone, do it with me. Deep breath, for real. You're actually going to stop and do it here. Okay, do you feel that? That right there is you letting go of all the stress you've had thinking about taking this test up from when you signed up for grad school, or the stress that when you heard someone else say they didn't pass, or the stress you heard when you heard someone else say they did pass, or the stress you felt when someone else was posting their notes or whatever it is. From here on out, we have got you. Like, this is what we do. We eat, sleep, and breathe this exam. We have, like, I mean, our product, we've been helping people pass for years now, and we only are getting better and better as we can fine tune it. So you're in the right place. So any stress that you have, just know, like, you're here. This is what we do. We're so excited for it. So here are all the non-negotiables you're going to need while you are studying with us. Non-negotiable, okay? Danielle, leave your ethics book next to you. You have to have your Cooper book, okay? Your Cooper book, which mine is all snabified over here.
Do you
But
have one without the cover on it? Because somebody asked me when I held mine up the other day, what is that? And I was like, oh, good point. Ugh,
it doesn't really like to be naked because it's, but
that's
whatever.
great. Take its clothes off.
There you go. You need the third edition Cooper book, okay? This is like a non-negotiable. This is literally like going to the dentist without teeth for them to check, okay? Do you like that analogy? I just made it on the spot. Kind of works. It's like literally the entire test is on this book. So you need it, okay? So you need this book, and you see the book that Danielle is modeling there? That is the ethics book. You have to have that. That is Bailey and Birch, and we are on the fourth edition.
Yes.
Fourth edition. And someone asked, can I get the old edition? Like, because
No.
it's cheaper? The answer is no, because ethics are always changing. So then you're studying old stuff. Like, you used to not be able to take a glass of water from a client, but now you can.
So
Yes, Danielle.
I just want to throw this in here because I feel like I hear a lot all the time, like, well, I don't need my book. You do, because I want you to remember at some point you may supervise someone and I would hate for them to be like, hey, do you have your book? And then you're like, I don't have a book. I don't know what BCA doesn't have their Cooper book. Also, you're going to feel
Major
like
ick, major ick,
it is
major
a
red
major,
flag.
I think that is a major ick. Maybe that needs to be something. Um, I would also tell you that you're going to feel like, oh, I don't need that ethics book. You absolutely need that ethics book for real life. I will tell you, I have probably used it 3 or 4 times this school year in meetings, and then at least 3 or 4 times last school year. So you definitely need that as a reference because it explains the ethics code. So those are definitely things that you need, and those are non-negotiables just as a practicing BCBA. And remember, you want to be setting a good example for your supervisees, so you should also have the same type of tools.
And like, it's literally, you're going to reference it also, being like, wait, was this, just get it, okay? And people, and by the way, for anyone in here is like, I don't need it. I have ChatGPT. ChatGPT has so much wrong shit lately. I don't know what's going on. So just be very careful,
Right.
everyone. Final say is your Cooper book. Not even us. Final say is Cooper book, not Liat, Danielle, any of us, okay? There you go.
But at least ChatGPT apologizes these days. You're
I
totally
know.
right, Liat. I'm like, okay.
You're totally right, Liat. Automaticity of reinforcement and automatic reinforcement aren't the same. Should have thought of that. But anyways, if you're not in a position to be training ChatGPT, don't. If you don't know the content well enough. Okay, pick and stick. This one is for all my ADD friends out there. If you're someone like me, everything looks exciting in the moment. Like when I started studying for the exam, I studied like the same thing 9 different ways. That's why
Yes.
tonight's topic of the attitudes of science I know really well because I studied them through writing my notes, reading the book, flashcards, videos, my friends' notes, Quizlets. You're going to be excited by all the resources out there, but I'm telling you, it just, first of all, you don't know which resources are trusted. Second of all, pick one method and be like, I'm going to lean into it and stick with it. If you like us, great. Lean in, we've got you. If you want something else, lean into it. But when you do too many things, it becomes just chaotic and overwhelming. So that's what I'm going to tell you, pick and stick. This one, it's a recommendation, but to me, it's something that's like mandatory. And this is about tabbing your Cooper book. Um, your Cooper book is a big, dry, boring book, right? Now, when you, oh, here, actually, don't want to be, just move this for a second. Here's an untabbed Cooper book, okay? If I were to tell you, Liat, go look up a DRL schedule right now, okay? That's a lot more effort for me than saying, Liat, go look up a differential reinforcement schedule right now, okay? These are two of the same books. Which one am I more likely to go open right now? Just looking at this. The one with the tabs, okay? We sell these tabs. You do not have to get them through us. You can. Um, they are, and they shows you exactly how to like mark them. They could look exactly like this with a sheet on the back, or you could make your own tabs for your book. But this is like the antecedent of all antecedent interventions for you to actually read your book.
I
Like,
would
yep.
gonna say, I would tell you, I've been there where I have tabbed my own book and then my dog ate it legitimately. It's right here in my desk where she ate my book. But I would tell you the tabs are 100% worth it. If you don't buy anything, buy the tabs. They are 100% worth it. You need them. It will make your life 1,000 times easier. You tabbing your own book, I've been there. Buy the tabs. Buy the tabs.
I mean, the tabs, yeah. I mean, I also it was the most complicated product we ever made. Like, try talking to China and telling them like, I need these ones this color, these ones this color, these ones not this. It took a long time back and forth, but I think it's like the most valuable product we've made.
No, I would say the staff meds.
Oh, staff meds are great too. I don't know, but no, these I like these
No,
are
I
like
meant like back and forth with
oh
China.
back and forth. Yeah, that took years, but that one like understandably back and forth. This one was like we literally just need these things written, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And I'm sure people are putting this in the chat as I'm speaking. Am I right? All right. I finally have a word for this page right here. And anyone who's been speaking to me lately, they know I keep using the word whimsy. I listened to a podcast recently called The Psychology of Your 20s, and it's like the psychology of whimsy. And I didn't know that that is me. And SNABA is whimsy. Whimsy is the ability to have markers, pens, post-its, glitters, stickers, a badass notebook to take notes. It's about rhinestoning your stuff, glitter, jewels, all of it. I am giving you permission right now to tell your significant other, if there's anyone in your way, that yes, I could buy another set of pens. Yes, I could buy that notebook that I would not usually buy. Yes, I'm getting those stickers. Yes, I think those stickers of dogs' buttholes are funny. I'm getting them. Whatever it is you need to make your notes stick out, you have permission for me to get it. Okay, so anyone who's like a education background and you love school supplies, office supplies, you're welcome. Get it. This is a project that you're about to lean into, and you're going to make notes that, like, if your house was on fire, this should be the thing that you want to grab because you're so proud of what you put into it. Okay, so there you go. And by the way, if you already are in the collective, you should, or should be, if you just signed up, receiving your ultimate collective study notebook that you could see here in the middle and your pairing pack, reinforcement pack to take notes and things like that. So if you do not have it yet, you should be getting it, but that's for you to take notes in, and the paper is beautiful and all the different things. So have at it. And it has all the stickers in it with like the different ABA words, so you can put them in your notes, things we're covering in class. So get excited. All right. Next thing I'm going to tell you to do for class is download the SNABA app for test content outline tracking. The SNABA app looks like a Pavlov head. My dog Pavlov again, the head at the top. That's the, we should probably put the actual logo here. That would make sense. But it is on the Apple Store or Google Play. There's a paid version and a free version. With the free version, you can use the test content outline like tracking system. So you could put anytime you study a specific class, we will tell you in class, like, all right, tonight's class we covered B9, B13, C7. So that way you will be keeping up with what you've done in class, and you could keep it all in there. Also, if you put your test date in the app, it will tell you what to be studying when, as well as in the free version of the app. If you are someone who is distracted by TikTok or Instagram, use this as a replacement. There is an entire feed where people are just only posting and you heart it, like it, comment, the same thing like Instagram, just of people's study notes. Okay, so people put their beautiful notes on there. You could comment, you could discuss. And that's all free. But if you decide that you do want to upgrade it with the paid version, you can go to study group on Saturday and Tuesday with Danielle or Karina, two of our BCBAs who know this shit really well, a place for you to like bring the questions you have, as well as access to the thousands of questions for you to practice and play games like choosing your reinforcer, popping Skinner's pimple, choosing how often you want the reinforcement, all the different things in there. We'll use punishment. We use a little bit of shock. Don't tell on us. No, I'm just kidding. It's just your phone vibrates. Everyone, I don't need everyone get reporting to the ethics board. It was a joke. Haha. Okay, so here we go. This, I do not say it lightly when I say you need to mark the fuck out of your Cooper book. Okay. Again, if you're like, I'm just getting this book to use and then I could sell it back. No, you're not. You need this book. And to prove that you're going to be using this book, we always have our Cooper decorating contest. So for this, your Cooper book, if you are in the collective, we ask that you decorate your front of your Cooper book. You could do rhinestones, stickers, glue, Christmas lights, fur, whatever it is. The wilder, the better. Maybe you make it motivational with your why while you're doing this. And you submit it to us by April 13th. And you submit it by sending it to, you could tag us on Instagram at StudyNotesABA, or you could send it to us an email to contact@studynotesaba.com. All right. Are we putting that in the chat? Anyone? I'm sure we are. We've seen really cool books. Make it cool. Also, do not be scared to highlight in your book. Write things down. You are going to, like reading your book, when you go to a page that already has highlight marks in it, the amount that you're going to engage in it is so much more than a page that looks like this. Okay? This first that. So mark your book up, write things down. If there's like a keyword, also in the collective, we use a lot of hashtags, things that are like positive reinforcement, hashtag increase future frequency, hashtag added, hashtag do it again, right? So put those hashtags in your book. All right. Now, for anyone who is in here, if you are already in the collective, like you've purchased your seat, we really recommend you finding a study buddy. And you could do that inside of, well, if you're in this one right now, this is live collective semester 2. You could ask to join the group. And as long as you put your purchase ID in there, will allow you to join the group. And it's always moderated by one of our BCBAs, typically Jessica. And put your questions in there. But it's a place, go in there and be like, hey, I'm Liat. I live in Dallas, Texas. Evenings are really hard for me. Anyone ready to learn with me study with me at like 6 a.m., you'll find someone. You don't have to be in the same city even time zone. You'll find someone who it works. Your best bet is talking this shit out with someone else who's equally as invested as you. So find a study buddy in there. Don't be shy. This is time to like put yourself out there and shared adversity. You know what I mean? Like you're both studying. You'll talk about things in your day like, oh my God, this kid did this today. Do you think this is an example of like using a DRO or a DRI? Right? Do it. It's going to be good for you. A lot of people also will be like, we make an East Coast group. So if anyone on the East Coast could get on at this time. So don't be shy. Really stick yourself out there. Also, when you're in our collective, you'll see on the side, you could join each class on the side there, but there's something that says hashtag extra resources. And we put this together for you with a ton of free and paid extra resources for every single class. So every class has free resources that are available, like different products we've made that are free, whether it's different YouTube videos or different worksheets or free little mocks, whatever it is. So if you need additional help with any of the classes, go to that extra resources and it will link you to different videos we've made that might really help, like lock in a concept. As well, if you're like, okay, I want more than that, there's some of them have paid resources, but a lot of free stuff on there. I say definitely use that. All right, during class, to keep the class a little bit sane, I know class is bigger tonight because we have a lot of people trying. Keep a Post-it next to you and write down any questions you have. We tell you to do this because we've taught it so many times that we usually actually are going to get to your question. We might just be like doing some foreplay before it because we know where it's leading. But write it down because I know the feeling when I have a question that I want to ask, I can't even like keep listening to anything anyone says until I get that question out. So just know that you wrote it down. If you don't get to it, we're going to get it. Also, you could send your questions at any time in the chat to the co-teacher. Whoever's the co-teacher that night, there's always going to be two BCBAs in there, one leading, one co-teaching, and whoever's co-teaching is going to make sure we get to those questions during class or that they're all listed in a document for us to, as soon as we get to the end of class, that we will stay on with you as long as we need to and answer the question. So one of the advantages of being in the live collective is that we're on with you at the end to answer any questions you have. All right, here's your supply list for each class. This is funny. This picture is actually we took like an actual overhead shot of my desk and just removed the desk and put it here for you. This was what my actual desk was looking like when I set up for night one, last collective. You got to have your Cooper book. I like to have a candle there, set the vibe, stimulus control, if you know what I mean. Pretty pens, more pretty pens, coffee, if that's your thing, maybe Sour Patch Kids, if that's for you, wine, no shame in it. Stickers. I also like to have a physical copy of the test content outline. It's just me, to cross things off. If you notice, I have meds over there. I always got to keep my meds nearby, depending on what they are. Is it Tylenol? Is it Adderall? I don't know, but I got to have something nearby. Got some snacks, whatever it is, make that area reinforcing, somewhere that you want to work from. Okay. If it's like a nasty corner of like a rotting table, you're not going to be excited about it. Okay. So wherever it is, and if you know, like, I can't find this space in my home, know that you have a specific coffee shop that you go to, but do something that is going to hold stimulus control of like, this is where I work. This is where I grind. This is where I get it done. Mine, when I was studying, was a bubble tea shop. All right. After every single class, this is what you're going to do. You're going to complete the knowledge check. Those are like, I think I want to say 5 questions at the end of class to make sure that you took in what we're talking about and you could answer them. They're applied questions, right? Like mock-like questions. Then you're going to complete the homework. That's in your account. That's for you to do on your own. The answers are also in the homework packet at the end. So when you go in there, you're going to, and those are going to be a mix of like fill in the blank, multiple choice, matching, for you to make sure that what you took in, you understand and you could generalize it. Some of the classes have assigned ethics module videos, okay? We recorded these videos on the different ethics to cover the different sections of the ethics book. You definitely want to watch those and you want to complete your assigned reading. Each class will tell you, it's also on your syllabus, what you need to be reading when in your Cooper book. Now, when it comes to reading the Cooper book, I recommend, Danielle and I both have different recommendations, so you're going to choose what works for you. So for me, I know as someone who's like, oh my God, this Cooper book is so dry and really makes me want to just like pull my entire eyeball out, you know? I am someone who would rather before class go in, like before tonight's class, for example, I would have gone in and read the summary of chapter 1, which is on page, just so you see it for an example, on page 23. They kind of go through all the points in the chapter. There's just not extra examples. So I would be like, okay, so I at least know what things we're going to talk about tonight, right? I don't want to go into class like not having any idea. So I know this, but then I'm going to go to class to have Liat or Danielle or Kara, whoever it is, explain the concepts. And then you could go back and read your book, the actual chapter in detail, because now you're not reading to learn it. You're reading for further examples because we already broke it down for you in SNABA language. And trust me, we're not talking like Cooper. All right. Danielle, on the other hand, she says, do the full chapter before class. Come in because then you could have all your questions ready to go. So really, whatever you're able to do.
Well, I say that because we're all adults and it's really easy to make an excuse to read something that's like not a romance novel. So I say, get it done. Get it out of the way.
Perfect. So Danielle's a lot better with time management too, out of the two of us. So that's kind of why that works like that. Danielle, by the way, has 73 hours in a day, and it's not a joke. I don't know how, more than the rest of us. So
maybe 27 and a half.
Something, I don't know. All right. We're always going to give you the playbill of what's going to happen in class that day so that you know what's coming, because I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to go to anything without knowing when the intermission is. Like, do not take me to a Broadway show without any sort of like playbill that I know when I get to exit. So tonight we're going to be covering these two things, the three levels of scientific understanding and the attitudes and assumptions of science. Okay. Then we always put this friendly slide just so you get used to the habit. And this friendly slide, whenever you see it, we're going to say, friendly reminder, don't steal our shit. Disseminate it. It's really weird when people like go post our exact slides and stuff and then like go sell it as like study notes AB or something instead of ABA. Don't do it. It's literally people rely on this for livelihood. We work our asses off, all of us, I can tell you. As much as it seems like we're all glitter sitting on walls like this, we're all working at least 9 people's job. We're trying to figure it out as we grow. So please disseminate everything you learn. We love that you're sharing the science and the love for it, but just don't steal the shit. All right. We always will have this slide, which is a tip of the day and a motivation of the day. So first, I'm going to start off a little backward today and give you the motivation of the day. And this is very true. Ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. If you wait for the feeling of being like, I'm ready, I am finally ready to sit down and lock down for this test. You know what? I am ready. I think I'm ready to put myself back out there and date. Okay. Like it's never a good time. It's never a good time to put yourself back out there on a dating app. Everyone knows that, right? It's a decision. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's a decision. I'm going to start. I'm going to start. If I want to start running, I got to start it today. So that's you being here today. You've done it. And if you decide today that you're like, you've already made the decision and you're here, congratulations. If you're thinking about it, just know like this is the first step you're taking in doing that and being like, I'm going to lock in. I'm going to put everything I have into this so I could pass this fucking test. If so, we got you. Now, the next tip of the day that I would tell everyone, and this is really important, is it's not next tip of the day. This is the tip of the day. Sorry, there was a motivation of the day. But the tip of the day is find your why. Okay. And your why is why are you doing this? Like at this point, you've gone through school. Yeah, you're going to take the test because you already went through grad school. That would make sense to complete it, right? But finding your why matters because night 1 of class is exciting. We have makeup on, we look excited, we look ready, we're funny. This is like different than anything you've ever seen. But by class 7, Danielle does not look like this, okay? I'm just joking.
You gave me credit to make it to 7.
Danielle always, by the way, you will see she goes from Kardashian to like running on her in her garage like the minute before. You'll see it's like it's wild. It's baseline intervention.
27 and a half hours of the day.
Yep, that's exactly it. So, but don't worry, that's how you should feel in here. You should not feel like you need to come with makeup. Come in your pajamas, come with whatever it is. Like no one cares. Come with like your zip patches on. Just come. But it's about finding your why when things aren't as exciting anymore. Like, why are you showing up? Why are you doing this? And with this, I like to share my why. And just for anyone who, and I'm sorry if you, I don't know why, I assume that everyone's heard the story, but I realize that not everyone has. But to everyone in the office, I'm sorry. You've heard it multiple times and you're going to hear it again. So here we go. Okay, hold on. And tonight I said I'm gonna, so I'm gonna tell you guys my why, and this is like the very real, raw, true version of my why and why I'm here. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily see this part of Study Notes ABA because as we've grown, you really just see like the colors, the bright, like the happy that it's come to be. But over time, it's there's really like a story and a mission behind it. So lock in, everyone. That because of what I'm about to tell you, this is the reason why SNABA exists. It wasn't just random. And so this is my story, the SNABA tale. Okay, let's circle back, students, to 1996, maybe. All I wanted to do was ever be a teacher. Like anyone that I could teach and would listen, I would talk to. Like any animal, stuffed animal, human, anyone who would sit. My poor parents were like always held hostage, like having to listen to me teach and bring home the teachers like old curriculums and stuff just so I could do this. And the only thing that shifted, changed in my position was I went from being just a regular teacher to a special ed teacher when my brother, when I was 9 years old, was diagnosed with an intellectual disability and autism. So then I was like, okay, cool, I'll just shift to special ed. So like I was the girl who always knew what I wanted to do. I had my exact plans. Like I was involved in every like, like special needs organization, every group, whatever it is. Um, Even going to college, I had like all the special needs students that I had worked with. Like University of Maryland wants Liat because she has nice hair or whatever it is. So like I was in a direction, I knew what I wanted to do. Life had other plans for me. I went to school, and besides the fact from ending up at a school that didn't even have a special ed program, I don't know how I ended up there. Um, I eventually transferred to University of Maryland where I wanted to go, and which, by the way, the school I ended up in by accident happened to have like an amazing ABA program, which was my major there somehow. I didn't know what it was though. But I went to Maryland and I was in the 5-year bachelor master program. I wake up one day unable to move my body. And that was the start of me finding out that I was diagnosed with lupus. Julia, can you fix this over here? Something's going on over here. I wasn't able to like move my body at all. And that was me getting diagnosed with lupus, finding out that, like, I mean, I was just in chronic pain. This, Julia. Um, Sorry, there's something distracting me here, guys. All right.
Freak.
So then I refocused. Okay. So I got through my bachelor's and master's program somehow, like in and out of the hospital. I did a lot of school from the hospital. Somehow made it through. And then I decided, okay, finally I could be a special ed teacher. I started teaching special ed. I lasted about 2 weeks in the classroom. I was hospitalized because I was on drugs to suppress my immune system, and I couldn't be in the classroom with kids. So I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? Like now I'm back home, like, or I mean, I had an apartment in DC at the time, not feeling cool. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do ABA. I knew that one girl who was a BCBA, and I think it's more one-on-one. Kids with autism aren't necessarily being like as like on top of each other with germs. Like I could control my environment more. This is perfect. So I'm like, this should be easy. Maryland was behavior based. So I thought it was a so I signed up for classes at FIT. I started doing them through being very sick. And leaving that job teaching was like really heartbreaking for me. And I just remember asking God, like, please, God, I just want to make this $51,000. Like, please, like, how could you do this? I knew what I wanted to do. I always say in hindsight, like, man plans and God laughs. I know God's kind of mentalistic, but he was like, listen, honey, I got way bigger plans for you. Just like wait up. It's just gonna cost you a couple fingers and this and that, but like something way bigger. And that is exactly what happened. So I was in my collecting my hours to become a BCBA and working very part-time. When it was finally time, like it took me so long to collect my hours because I couldn't work full time. When it was finally time for me to be like, okay, now I'm ready to sit down and test. Like I finished my coursework at FIT. Um, that is it, when I had come home for a holiday. So I'm back to Dallas from Austin, and I got really sick. Thought it was just a regular lupus flare up. They said her gallbladder needs to come out. I'm like, okay, sure, right? You don't argue with the doctor. Now we know about philosophic doubt. I probably should have. And that surgery really changed my life. The surgery itself wasn't a big deal. Lost my gallbladder, who cares? But I came out of the surgery, and over the next 4 months, the doctors made a mistake, didn't read my medical records, and that was the start of me losing 3 of my fingers. 1, 2, 3. They were decomposing. The other ones they were able to save, but they still have a lot of sores on the end. Um, they made a mistake, which caused my hands to essentially go frostbite in the surgery, which over the next 3.5 months, I was inpatient in hospital, sent to John Hopkins in Maryland, and in excruciating pain. Like, imagine just watching your fingers come off tighter and tighter. And I'm like, I'm really not feeling cool. I'm in agonizing pain. I'm watching these fingers, they want to fall off naturally. I am like, I'm 27 years old. I had not been able to ever hold a job. Like, all my friends have been working for years. I'm like, I just truly wanted to die. Like, I always say, thank God my hands didn't work. DRI, couldn't do it. Um, okay, that's a dark joke. Anyways, uh, fast forward to when I finally got my fingertips amputated. It was just like they finally amputated them. And from that day on, and realize at this point, I'm on so many pain meds in hospital, like on a pump. And my brain is fried. And I kept being like, but I gotta take this test. I gotta take this test. They're like, honey, like, let's just like worry about like keeping like blood to the rest of your organs, not this test. I'm like, and I couldn't remember anything. Like, say 7-3, this, yeah, what did I say? I'd be like, I have no idea. How am I going to take this test on this big book? Anyways, fast forward, they cut the fingers off. And from that day onward, I never took another pain pill again. And I was like, I am passing the fucking test. Like, I am 27 years old. I am making something of myself. Like, I can't give up. So from that day forward, I started, um, I had to move back home with my parents, not feeling cool at all. They like kind of made it like apartment like in the back of the house. Because I had to have someone dressing me, wiping me, all the things that involve when your hands have open wounds on the end of them. I was an OT like 4 days a week, relearning to pick up marbles and hold a pen. And my only outing would be that I would go sit at this bubble tea shop and I would just sit with my markers and like practice writing. Uh, and I'd write my notes out. Meanwhile, as someone with like the most severe world's worst ADHD that like since like fourth grade, like being on meds, like my parents had to like try find me tutors for different things, just have me like sit down. Like school was never my thing. Um, I was no longer allowed to take my ADHD meds, which was like, how the fuck am I supposed to pass this test with my fingers cut off and no meds? Like, I'm really at a disadvantage here. But I was like, I am going to do it. And so I started writing my notes out and I created an Instagram account called StudyNotesABA just for myself to see my notes all pretty in one place. Like, I like looking at them. And that's exactly what I did. And people started following it. It was literally just my notes with crazy ways to remember things because to make it memorable, I was gonna have to make it really memorable. There was like buttholes, sex, drugs, weed, things people like to use to remember things. And people started following it. Um, and then I passed the test. And you used to have to wait for 45 days to know. So people had been following my stuff and I had like these funny ways, and people were like, oh my God, you helped me so much. So I was like, okay, if I could pass this fucking test with my fingers cut off and without like any meds, I could get anyone to pass this test. Like that was my thing. And that's where the motto of pass the fucking test came from. And that's what I did. So I started teaching classes for free. I worked as a BCBA at a clinic. And I was like any extra second I had, I was still like making like funny videos to remember things and like ways to teach things. And um, people were like catching on. So it was totally free. Come join class at this time, join the Zoom room, and then log off at 45 minutes, get back on because it's free. And people started passing. And I was like, this is incredible. And that high, like I was able to teach again. And that's all I ever wanted to do, like teach. Like if there's one thing I love to do, it's teach, and that's it. And so with that, we have helped a lot of people pass the exam. Now I'd say we are in the tens of thousands of people who have become BCBAs since Study Notes ABA, which is incredible. So if you're here, um, thanks for being here. If it took people like early on, like someone like Kara or Danielle, who took my classes when I did not look this pretty, not me looking this pretty. I also I've had a glow up since my divorce, but no, when the collective wasn't on the screen like this, it was more, like a piece of post-it that I held up, whatever it is. Um, and people believing in it and coming and taking these classes, and with time and repeatability, we now see that more people are, trusting us, and we take that very seriously. So just with that, I do want to say that um, as SNABA has grown, I think a lot of people look at it as like this huge thing. It's still just us working it, and as it grows, I still can't believe that like this is something that I've been able to have a part of. Like when I thought everything in my life was taken away from me, like I just remember like crying to like have that salary or be able to work or like and like now people are like, how did you start this? I'm like, I really didn't mean to. It was complete accident and a fluke, and SNABA just means so much to me because it's really, I lost my ability to do so many things with my health physically. I'm in and out of the hospital all the time. You'll hear like, oh, Liat's in the ER. She's not. I'll make good content from the ER because there's a lot of behavior examples. But like SNABA is everything that I'm still able to do all in one place. And so if you see anything in the SNABA brand, the color, all of it, it's Liat personified. People are like, how are you like so good at your branding? I'm like, well, it's me. Like all these things are things that make me happy. The color, the bright, the art, the comedy, the humor, the helping, the motivation. So it's all in one place. So like being able to do this and wake up with a purpose every day, I'll tell you, has like helped my like health more than any medication or anything I've ever been on. I wake up with such purpose, and I've been able to share that with so many people that I'm forever grateful to all of you for being here. So thank you. And just, I hope to continue doing this. And I just want you to know that you're in the right place. And this was my why. Um, and we continue to get these inundated messages all the time. They're the best. People being like, I heard your voice in my ear. I did this. I passed the test. And I can tell you it never gets old. And I can't wait to have you guys sending us these messages. We live for them. Please do. And that is my why. So my why has shifted over time in that, at the time it was like, I have to make something of myself. Life has given me other tests along the way. Um, and so I really encourage you to do is find your why. And while I'm going to show you guys this page that you guys should have printed out that came with your pairing pack, if not, it's in your account, you can print it off. You should take this, draw out your why. Why are you doing this? And I'm also going to have just Danielle tonight share her why, so we could have a second why here. Before we get into class, Danielle, take it away.
Oh my gosh. So my why has also shifted over time, but I will start on how I got here and what my why was during class. And then I have a why I show up every day for you guys, tutoring or class or whatever. So I am a multiple time test taker. I've taken my test four times. So how my journey started is that I did almost all of my supervision hours. So I had a BCBA, I was a teacher in a classroom. I'm in my heart, a teacher will forever always be a special ed teacher. You couldn't tell me any other way. So this coming to class Monday and Wednesday night literally fills my bucket. So I had a BCBA come in my classroom and was like, okay, you're going to give your student free attention every 30 seconds. And I was like, this is dumb. This is really dumb. And then she's like, just try it. And then it worked. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So I did my schooling and then I got my hours and I have to have 1,500 hours and I got, oh my gosh, what was it? Like 1,400 hours-ish, maybe 1,475. I was right there at the end. And I was sitting at a conference with my supervisor and she went, and I was like, you good? And then we went upstairs and she was whispering with another BCBA. And so I did not watch the 8-minute long supervision video when I started my supervision. And so I emailed the board and they said, sorry, those don't count now because you didn't watch an 8-minute video. And I was like, can't I just watch the 8-minute video? And they were like, no. So I took a deep breath and started my hours all over again. Got through 1,375 of my hours and the board came out with a newsletter and was like, oh my gosh, you guys don't have to watch the video anymore. So then I emailed them and I was like, hey, can I use these previous hours to finish out my hours? And they're like, oh, absolutely. So I may have been a little mad about that. So I did my hours double, which is really difficult to get in public school. So that was another trial in itself. Fast forward, I didn't pass my third time. I got a 397. So I was really frustrated. So I took a hard break for about 2.5 months because I was pissed.
That was a real kick in the dick.
It was a real kick in the dick. Like it sucks.
Danielle always says that. I love it.
So then somebody was like, hey, you should try this place. And I was like, okay, cool. So I signed up for a collective. I was also I think I was proactively annoying because I remember that I did the payment plan. And so I had paid early. And so then I was checking. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Like, I don't even know how the payment plan worked, but yeah.
And then I was like, hey, anyway, I was proactively annoying. So I came to collective, I think the first or second night, I think somebody said, who's going to be the next behavior bitch? And I was like, well, me, obviously. Now you'll get to know me and you'll be like, okay, I get it. But I think what was really important for me is at the time my why at the time was I had 2 little kids. I had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I even still have my little notes from Lily would study with me, and she would write me these little notes and drew me all kinds of bookmarks and things when I was studying because she's seen me really upset. So it was really important for me, especially having a little girl, to say, look, you can do hard things because this is really hard, and mom's cried, and we're going to get it. She was very committed, more committed than my ex-husband. So,
Well,
So to me, my why at the time was absolutely showing up for my kids and showing them that they can do really hard things. And I think what's really awesome is like Kara's kids are experiencing it now, but my kids, like they become SNABA kids. And so they're very invested into SNABA. Lily made the Instagram page the other day with her SNABA bag. They are tried and true bleed SNABA from being around their mom. So they love it here. I love it here. But my why at the time was to show my kids that you can do hard things. But I will tell you, I work a full-time job as BCBA in a school district, which if you have never worked in school, it's wild, wild out here. But for me, it doesn't matter how long of a day I have. My why on Monday and Wednesday nights is to show up for you guys. It literally makes my heart so happy to come and teach and help you guys understand things because I've been there and I know that it's difficult. And for me, it's all about paying it forward because Liat was so wonderful and she helped me understand those things. And so I think it's just really important that we get to share those things with you. And I definitely feel like that's how our team is it's all about paying it forward and taking care of people. So that's why I show up on Mondays and Wednesdays and tutor all of the time and teach. We're going to teach our summer camp, which I'm super excited about. So that's my why.
Thanks, Danielle. So whatever your why is, everyone, and whether it's your first time taking the test or you're like, I'm gonna do something different this time, whatever it is, just find that why and put it somewhere salient. That's what I want to tell you, that you could see it regularly and you check in with it. All right, guys, now we're on to our pages of notes. Tonight we have 2 pages of notes. We're gonna actually get into class so you can feel what class is like. And what you're going to need, you need pen, paper. You're going to take the notes with us because that's what we do here at SNABA. So go ahead. Get some colors you like. I'm going to go ahead and choose. Okay, let's go ahead and label this page attitudes and assumptions of science. So I just want to start off by saying that applied behavior analysis is a science, okay? As is biology, chemistry, physics, medicine, pharmacology. I talk about a lot of pharmacology. I know a lot about medications. I think it just comes with an illness. They're all different types of sciences. We also are, okay? So all these things that we're talking about today, we're just talking about sciences as a whole, not about ABA specific. But ABA fits under this because it is a science, all right? So with that, we are going to write down, how are we going to remember the attitudes of science? Well, I want you to imagine, you know, you're writing a note to your friend in class and you're like, psst, psst, right? This is like me, by the way. You know, when your teacher like cock blocks a note that you're sending, it sucks. And they're like, we'll read this to the rest of the class, right? So they read the note to the rest of the class. I was sending Danielle a note in class and she's like, teacher's like, huh? And she's like, okay, Leah has a crush on Aaron. We got that. Okay. And what's this end part? P.S. Dear PP. And my face was like so red because he was there and I was like still trying to date him and it was a whole situationship. And Danielle's like, oh my God, because it's supposed to go to her, right? And the teacher's like, the fuck? P.S. Dear PP. What does that mean? And so then I kind of just like, I'm like mortified and red and I look out the window and I point out the window like in the classroom and you see like on the playground is like this like deer with like so much attitude, like just like taking a piss on the merry-go-round. Okay. So I was like, Danielle, like I was trying to tell her a note that who I had a crush on, like we do when you're in elementary school, and that like there was a deer taking a piss, and the teacher's like, oh. So I want you to think of this. Think of a deer with a lot of attitude. When you think of the attitudes of science, you're gonna think P.S. Dear PP, like the end of the note that I wrote P.S. Dear PP. Okay. And these are the attitudes and assumptions of science. We are assuming that all science is led by these principles. Okay. Circling back to writing notes in elementary school, I'll be bubbling this. You like how I mixed corporate and elementary together, like circling back and bubble letters? It all works together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write these all out first, and then we'll work through them, okay? So first, we have pragmatism. Then we have S, selectionism. Then we have determinism. Then we have empiricism. Then we have experimentation. Then we have replication. Then we have parsimony. Then we have philosophic doubt. I used this word earlier. Okay, so write all those out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just realized I was wondering why my notes looked all weird. I started a page behind, but that's okay. I'm going to go right there after you write this out.
Do you
I
want
was like,
do you want to turn off your editor thing? Click the pencil and then you'll take off the little lines. Because if not, it just does that with your
how do you
handwriting.
do it?
Go to the pencil and then it says writing aids and then I think you turn it off.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Much better.
You're
All
welcome.
right. You know what? I'm happy at teaching this order. I think I can. What do you think? Or you think I
Yeah.
should go to the other slide first?
What's the
I
other
think this is
slide?
good. Prediction,
Oh,
description, description. Okay,
no,
fine. You know what? We set this page up. Should I do the other one first?
no, I think this is fine.
Okay.
I think this is fine. And then the other one would make sense because then, yeah, no, I think you should leave it alone.
Okay, I like this. Okay, so this is assuming that all sciences are leading with these, okay? So first we have pragmatism, okay? And I'm going to talk about these out of order, so you'll just follow me, guys. All right. So, pragmatism, okay? When we talk about pragmatism, we have the hashtag, and by the way, in our class, we use hashtags. Practical approach, okay? Did I spell practical wrong? Yes. Did I do it on purpose? Hell yeah. Okay, so pragmatism, right? Hashtag the intervention. Hashtag promotes effective action. Oops. What does that mean? All right. So, pragmatism. This is when we talk about, let's say we have a problem, any problem we have, okay? How are we going to solve the problem? How are we going to intervene? What is the most practical approach, okay? So, it means doing what works. So I always use an example here of being like, I remember, and pragmatism is like, what are you actually going to do in terms of the intervention, right? So let's say it's like, oh, I have a cat, and the cat always is like going into the bathroom and like messing up all the. Someone is at the front door. What front door? My house door is connected to the office.
You want me to go so you can whatever your front dooring?
No. I'm not at my front door. I'm at my office, so no front door. Anyways, you can just make sure that Kobe's good with the babysitter. Okay. Anyways, so pragmatism is when we're talking about what we're going to do to solve it. So if let's say there's a cat and you're like, oh my God, the cat is always like going into the bathroom and like ripping up everything, the toilet paper, the towels, whatever it is, right? I can make a not pragmatic approach and be like, okay, so maybe you should like set up like laser beams and like lights outside so the cat doesn't go in there and like try get the cat training and this and that. A pragmatic approach would be like, or you could just shut the door, right? How are you going to solve the problem? How are you going to intervene? What's the most practical approach? Okay. Same way. It's like, oh, you have a headache. It's like, oh, well, you could try doing yoga 3 times a week, taking, you know, like oils and this and that. It's like, oh, you said you have a headache, or you could just take a Tylenol, right? That's pragmatic. Now, people confuse pragmatism and parsimony. Parsimony is, and notice inside the word pragmatic, we have prag, like practical. Okay, so this is when we're talking about the solution. What's a practical solution? That's what we're looking at here. For parsimony, inside the word parsimony, we have sim, like simple, okay? So this one we're talking about the simplest theory or explanation. And by the way, you're going to get this a lot, whether you're a BCBA in a school or in homes or working with other people, right? They'll be like, I remember working with a client and then being like, I don't know, like my son has like so many like behaviors. It's like so much. And, he was a preemie. So he had to get a lot of blue light therapy when he was young and he was born early and the umbilical cord was around his neck. And so he has a lot of like, whenever we go to the grocery store, he just like has these outbursts and it's like, but like I know he was born early. He was like lacking oxygen, like just like going through every single thing. And I'm like, okay. And by the way, you're going to listen to these things that parents say. You're not going to be like, that sounds ridiculous, right? You're going to listen because you're not an asshole. You may have philosophic doubt, which we'll get to, but parsimony is like, I'm like, okay, so let me go see. I go with them to the store. I see exactly where the kid starts tantruming in the candy aisle when they walk past it and in the checkout, right? And what does the mom do when they're in the checkout? She gets him Skittles, like clockwork, right? So the simplest explanation of why something is happening is parsimony, right? So I could say parsimony is why something's happening. Maybe the simplest now pragmatism is how am I going to engage it? Like, what am I going to do about that? Yes, Danielle?
Is it okay if I throw in an example of both of these?
I'd love you to.
Okay, so what I try to think about with this one, and I will tell you when it comes to studying for this test, sometimes you just don't need to overcomplicate it. So like for me, parsimony would be like, okay, I go into this classroom and I see this kid and his teacher says it's time to work. She gives him math and he tears it up, right? And then math goes away and he never gets it back, right? So the simplest explanation is he never gets math back. So he's going to keep tearing it up. So a practical approach for me as a BCBA is, well, instead of letting him tear up his math and never getting it back, we need to teach him how to use a break card or ask for help, because that would be a practical approach to address the behavior concern versus parsimony is this the simplest explanation. He tears up his math and then never has to do it. So he gets out of math all of the time. How was that? Set? You good? Okay.
Beautiful.
You were making a weird face and
no, it was good. I got a text from Kobe's babysitter. So that's what I was figuring out. We are good. So that was perfect timing. Thank you. Right? So parsimony, explaining why something's happening in a simple way. Pragmatism, what are you going to do about it? Okay, cool. Now, I'm going to go to the next P on here, which is philosophic doubt. And this is something very important to have. And I think I have examples of this all the time in my life. Philosophic doubt is hashtag healthy skepticism. Great. Okay, and hashtag bullshit detector. Question the quote unquote truth. Okay. So philosophic doubt is you want anyone who is any practitioner working with you, whether it's a doctor. Have you ever gone to a doctor and they're like, nothing's wrong with you? And you're like, I'm pretty sure something's wrong with me. You're like, no, the other doctor said nothing's wrong with me, but like, I know something's wrong. Like these headaches I'm getting are not normal, right? It takes someone having philosophic doubt or a healthy skepticism to question what is said as the quote unquote truth. Maybe you've had a client sent to you and they're like, this kid has 0 reinforcers, like literally 0, right? I'm going to have philosophic doubt. I'm not going to have rude skepticism, asshole skepticism. We're just going to have healthy skepticism. Like, that's interesting. Like, nothing, right? When you get a kid handed over and nothing's working for them, maybe you question the interventions that have been used, right? That is called philosophic doubt. Thank God the doctor who diagnosed what was happening with my hands was the one who was like, I was like, oh, I have lupus. I'm just going to be losing fingers my whole life. I didn't put one and one together that like the doctors made a mistake and didn't cover my hands and gave me a medication to cut my blood circulation off. He had philosophic doubt, and he was the one who figured out, like, whoa, this is not just random, right? So philosophic doubt, any practitioner or scientist should have this to make sure that we always have a healthy skepticism. And that's how we question the truth and find other findings. All right. Next, we have selectionism. Also, I think part of these should be, sorry, side note, part of these should be recorded from here, I think, because they're actually teaching. All right. Next, selectionism. Sorry, we have 10 things going on here, guys. Selectionism. Now we're going right up here. Selectionism is hashtag selection by consequence. And it's stating that anything that evolves is the result of consequences. Okay. For example, selectionism works on a large scale and on a micro scale. Okay. If I tell a joke in here tonight and no one laughs at it, I'm not going to tell that again. That consequence is not going to be selected as something that works for me. Okay. If I try a new drug, I go out to a rave and I'm like, I'm going to try ecstasy tonight. Right. And I literally, after that, I am like depressed for days. I'm not going to do that shit again. Okay. That's selection by consequence. If I tell a joke and everyone laughs, I'm going to do that again. If I am someone and I have figured out a way to make money by selling feet pictures online and I make a shit ton of money, I'm probably going to do it again. Right? The same goes in science. When they find something that works, they're like, oh my God, this medication is working and it's helping people like get over COVID, they're going to do it, right? Because that served them. If the consequence serves you in some way, it's going to survive and you're going to do it again. So it is like Darwin's, like, selectionism and survival of the fittest, but it happens in everyday consequences as well on a large scale of why giraffes have long necks. We'll talk more about this in a future class. All right, now let's talk about determinism. Determinism, we say hashtag lawfulness, hashtag cause and effect. Hashtag nothing is random. Okay, what does this mean? So determinism is when we are talking about that nothing happens randomly. Remember, I thought, oh, I have lupus, so I'm just like randomly going to be losing fingers the rest of my life. That really is what I thought, right? Until the doctor came in and is like, whoa, 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 whoa. People don't just like randomly start losing fingers, no matter what we're diagnosing here, right? Something had to have happened. He's like, the operating room was at said temperature. They didn't do it. They didn't cover her hands. Therefore, they started freezing off, going gangrene, right? You didn't just end up in the grocery store. You opened your fridge, there was no food. You smoked a joint, you're starving. You didn't just end up on DoorDash, right? Whatever it is because something else happened. Even when you think there was no antecedent, there's always an antecedent. All right? There's always something happening. Nothing happens in a vacuum. All right? And by the way, I should have been highlighting these words here. So simple, I highlighted. Determinism, we have determine. Like this determines that. Because this happens, it's going to determine that that happens. Selectionism, we have the word select, right? We're selecting consequences that work for us. Parsimony, we have the word simple. Philosophic doubt, we have the word doubt, right? These are all things that are helping me remember where these are coming from. Now, empiricism. Empiricism, I see the word empire in it. That's how I remember this one. And I always imagine like a fat emperor. Kind of looks like the Michelin like tire guy. Right? Oops. Okay, that's a bad picture, but you get it. And he's like yelling out facts. Everyone's coming in with like their 2 cents, like, I think this is happening because of this, happening this. He's like, I don't give a shit, just give me the facts. If something is empirically based, it's like you're only relying on research, not opinions, okay? Like, well, I think this could help us with this, and I think this could help us. It's like, give me data showing it, or else I don't care, okay? So all science is supposed to rely on facts, not opinions. Should be objective. You got to see it. Like, I got to see the data to believe it. Okay? And this is done through observations. Okay, that's empiricism. ABA, because it is a science, also uses this, but as does every other science field. Now we're going to talk about experimentation. All right, experimentation. Hashtag, and in here we can see the word experiment. Hashtag experimental analysis. Hashtag manipulation. Hashtag functional relation. All right. Experimentation is when we are actually manipulating something. Us BCBAs, we are master manipulators. People think the word manipulate is a bad word. It's not when you're using it correctly. Anytime that you put your keys by the front door so that you don't forget them on the way out, or your lunch by the front door, that's manipulation. Okay? As is texting the guy that you slept with last night that you think you're pregnant for him to text you back. That's also manipulation, and that's not as nice as manipulation. But manipulation is anything you're doing to manipulate or change behavior, right? Okay. So, with this, when we're talking about this in science, we're always doing this, right? We're like, let's see, is there a functional relation? And we use that word in ABA all the time. Like, why is someone doing this? What is the functional relation? Like, what's happening here? Why did all these people start getting sick when they moved to Japan? Why are all these people passing the test when in this? Is it because of something? If they take the collective, are they going to pass? That's what we find out through experimentation, where we are literally like, we're going to implement an intervention and see what happens, right? That's when we're like, let's see, when we add this reinforcer to the situation, are we going to see the individual manding more? Let's check it out. If I send this naked pic, am I going to get a response from him? If I post this thirst trap on Instagram, are more people going to like it, right? That's experimentation, right? And now, when we get the same results over and over, we're like, I could do this experiment over and over and I get the same thing. That's replication. Okay? Replication. And by the way, when you're studying with us, you will never hear the word replication by itself. Danielle, I don't know if you're like me. Anytime you see it, you immediately in your head think hashtag repeatability. Hashtag believability. There's some words that we study that like I have words that go with it that immediately come up as soon as I think of it. Hashtag reliability. Hashtag detect human error. So experimentation. Let's say initially with experimentation, we were like, let's see, does Liat get more on-task work done when she takes Adderall? They give me Adderall. It's like, whoa, Liat's on-task time was 9 hours, where yesterday it was 7 minutes, right? Okay, so it worked that time. Great. But I want to know, was it really the Adderall, or was it because she had a good night's sleep last night, or was it because, you know, her boss was in the office watching her, so she was more on task? It's like, let's do it again. Let's see. Let's give her an Adderall tomorrow and see if it works. We see the same thing again. The more time we're able to do replication and show that something works or that something doesn't work, that's what we call repeatability. You want to see things happening over and over to know, like, oh, this is why it's happening, right? And the more repeatability that we have, the more reliable something is. All right. That's why I really give a shout out to anyone who took my classes early on when I like had nothing to really show for it, because people like I said earlier, like Danielle and Kara came when I literally had nothing to show for it. Not really replication, not repeatability, right? The more people that pass, the more people are like, oh, I could believe this. And that's where believability comes. When we see repeatability, multiple people passing using the same thing, they're like, this is a reliable resource, right? Increases believability. Now, also why replication is so important, because it detects human error, right? We might be like, the Adderall is great for Leah. She got so much work done. We noticed it did the first time, but the next time it didn't, right? And the next time it didn't either, right? When we do things over and over, we're like, well, was it truly because of the medication, or was it because, again, her boss was there? She was sick that day, so she just like literally couldn't even lift her head, so it looked like she was focusing, right? That's when we look at replication. So all of these things are important. Not one is more important than the other, and they all work together. And by the way, you will see this in all different places that you're seeing. Like the other day, for example, replication, I was like, would you mind if I took a video of this? I was at the eye doctor. For my lupus, I'm on a medication that you have to have an eye test once a year for them to continue prescribing your medication. And this test is like the most painful test ever in terms of like how boring it is. You have to have like your eye on this little thing, and it's anytime you see, it's a field test. Anytime that you see any sort of flash in there, you have to hit this button, right? And I'm like, this is literally 30 minutes. She's like, oh, it's actually a 4-minute test. I'm like, right. So she shows me the results after. How many times I missed the light when it was hitting a certain spot, right? So they test the same thing over and over to be like, okay, so she really does not have view, like, ability, field of vision in this area because of repeatability. Like, oh, over and over she's missing it, right? That's what we use to really like make sure something is believable or reliable. All right, guys, that is all you need on this page right here. You guys did a great job, and I am actually teaching them backwards, but these 2 pages don't necessarily need to be in order. They work together. But these are all things, and I actually might teaching like it in this order better anyways. So, all right. And just because I always have to make something look good.
I would agree with you. I think this is actually a better way.
Like, I think that we should generally flip it. It is really cool
Yeah, I would agree. Well, it makes more sense when you talk about description, prediction, and control, and then tying it into the 7 dimensions.
I can
see.
write it on the Google Doc to remind you to change.
Perfect. Perfect. Or Martha's here even. She could change it. Perfect. Look at that. All right. So now we're going to talk about the 3 levels of science. Okay. So all sciences have these 3 levels. What colors? Someone yell out your favorite color. I need to help.
Purple.
Okay.
Yellow.
Green.
Purple.
Yellow. Okay.
Blue.
Okay. I'll try to get all those in. 3 levels of scientific understanding. Who knows what page we're on?
We're on page 3. 3.
Okay, I heard Ashley Davis say it. Ashley, good job. You just won a mini mock for knowing what page we're on. Oh, is it the right page, everyone? Let me check.
Yeah. Yes, that's the right page.
Yes, it is.
All right, someone send Ashley how to get her prize. Okay, nice work. Following along on the book is hot, everyone. If you want to be hot, you follow along with your book. Okay, so. I'm not liking what I'm doing here, but I'm going to lean in, There we go. Okay. So we are now talking about the 3 levels of science. It's so funny. I like put my notes next to me. I don't think I look at them once the entire class, but why not have them up here,
I told you.
I know, but it is good. But if anyone, like you as a co-teacher, could make sure I'm not missing anything,
Correct. And you haven't.
Well, not everyone teaches like me, So, all right, kidding. Okay, so we have the 3 levels of science. We're going to go ahead and draw out a wedding cake or whatever you're going through in your life. If that sounds nice to you, if you're mad at someone,
Really?
make it a
You went with
divorce
a
cake.
wedding cake? You went with a wedding cake? 2 divorced ladies on here, and you went with a wedding cake? Actually, 3 Jessicas on here.
Yeah, I'd like to hope
What
for the
about
best.
if it's a celebration cake of no man? That's what I want.
Okay, we could do that. We could do that. Yeah. Fuck AJ, right? Since we're on theme tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
just saying.
Sorry, AJ.
Yeah.
You guys are hilarious.
Like Kobe
we
got a
do
3D
love
printer
him,
for his
though.
birthday, and Kobe's like, nothing's working. This sucks. He's like, no, he's like, we need a dad here. I was like, we need a dad here for the 3D printer? I was like, mommy got you the printer, a-hole.
Well, first of all, the fact that he said we need a dad here and didn't say his dad, I mean,
No, trust me, it's actually the cutest thing. The way he talks about his dad is like, he is the shit. My sister always says, I got to meet this guy. Because like she talks about him like my dad got a new couch. My dad got a new couch and he got a truck. And my dad wears cologne. Actually, Kobe's 5th birthday is this week, and I got him Hollister cologne. How cute is that? He could be just like his daddy.
Just let him continue to believe that lie.
It doesn't
Cute.
get
Okay.
any better when they turn 17.
You know what? I want Kobe to think his dad's
Or
a shit
10.
always. I like that. I think it's good. All right. He didn't have to marry him. I did, but if he loves him, I'm happy. Okay, so we're gonna draw 3. Sometimes we riff like that, go into our personal lives. So this cake has 3 candles. It could be for someone's 3rd birthday. It could be for a divorce. It could be for a marriage. It could be for a birthday or anything in between. Oops, why is it doing that? Okay. 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 So the 3 levels of science, we're going to go ahead and write this out at the top. Okay. The goal of science is to achieve a thorough understanding of the phenomena under study. So we use science to study whatever it is we're looking at. Why is this kid always banging their head? Why is this person always sick? Why do these plants only grow in this certain climate, right? We use science for that. All right. Now we're going to talk about the 3 different levels of science. The 3 levels are description, prediction, and control. And if you notice that my cake tiers are getting smaller and smaller, it's because it's getting more and more specific, okay? It's going from more general to actually figuring out like a real understanding of why what's happening is happening, okay? So description, this is the least specific of the 3, okay? This is the bottom of the cake, the bottom of the triangle, and it's just what we see objectively, okay? So how many times does Liat wear a pink shirt to class? How many times does Jenna snort in class? How many times did this individual flop to the floor? How much time did they spend going to the toilet? How many times did they spend masturbating? Whatever it is, right? We're just saying these are objective facts. We are describing what we see. We're describing accurately. It's a collection of facts. Okay, it's observed events, and it could suggest a possible hypothesis. So let's pick a random question that we're answering here, right? Let's say anyone have like a problem with one of their friends? Anyone have like an attention hungry friend or anything like that? Anyone? Well, give me a
I have
problem.
a blunt friend.
A what?
He's very blunt.
You have a friend who's blunt. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if that works. I mean, I could do it with that, but I want to make sure it's just like a very clear painting initial example. But let's say I'll bring that one back, but let me just do like a more general for everyone here, okay? So first off, we're like, let's do I have so many things coming to my head right now.
How about my friend keeps falling for the same type of guy?
Okay, we could do that. Let's try that. Danielle, we're gonna try this, okay? Description. Description would be like, what's your friend's name? Let's talk shit. I'm just kidding.
Gia.
What?
Gia.
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 Okay. Gia has dated what kind of the kind of like assholes, or how are we going to describe them?
She loves hotties on the outside, dirty on the inside, unavailable men.
So
Okay.
I think we would have to say Gia.
Operationally define this.
Right. So I would think we would have to say if we were doing description, right? We would see Gia go on a date. Well, we would right. We have to live. We're gonna live.
Or we could be like 9 guys Gia has gone out with have cheated on her out of 10.
Yes.
I don't. Yes, you could say
Sounds
that.
right.
We
But
could
I
do
think
we could
it-
say that.
But I think you still need to say like Gia likes men who are handsome or whatever on the outside. They look like this. They wear cologne. They wear jewelry. They do blah blah blah. And then when she spends quality time with them, they don't provide quality time. I think we'd have to do something along those
Yeah,
lines.
my only problem is if I'm teaching this night 1, I'm like, we could do this, Danielle, but I'm like, are we making it not operationally defined enough? Should I give
I
it?
I feel like we probably just need to stick to something simple, but this is a fun
No,
activity.
we could do it with this one after, and we could do it with the blunt thing too, because there's something controlling that behavior. Maybe the one who's blunt, like, has got a lot of reinforcement in the past. Like, people think she's
Yeah.
funny as shit, so she does it more often, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So we get to these, but I think I'm going to start with something really simple, okay?
Yes.
We're going to start with, let's do it. Let's go back to this kid in the grocery store who, like, the mom had given me this whole complicated thing of,
Yeah.
like, and he does this because he was born early. He had no friends when he was little. He had no light, this and that. He was malnourished, whatever it is. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the store with them and I'm like, okay, it's true. The kid does at the store, we've gone to the store 15 times, and every single time we've gone, he's had a tantrum, right? So he had a tantrum 15 separate occasions every single time. Okay. I'm describing what I see. I could also describe like during this time we went to the store, he tantrum for a total of 7 minutes and 33 seconds, right? These are all describing things, okay? At the beginning, I could maybe make a hypothesis, like there's something definitely going on at the store that he tantrums because he's not doing it when he's at home, right? Now, if I want to find out like what this phenomena that I'm studying is, I'm going to go to the next level, which is prediction, okay? This is the second level of understanding, okay? And this is when we have repeated observations reveal that 2 events hashtag consistently hashtag covary with each other. Okay, what does that mean? So this does not say like it's necessarily happening because of something, but here, right? I already said he tantrumed this many times at the store. He tantrumed for this long. Now it's like, okay, it really seems like every time we're in the checkout, as soon as you enter the checkout aisle, the behavior happens, right? Now I'm predicting like as soon as they enter like within this area of the store, the behavior happens, right? That's prediction. Now I'm seeing 2 things happen. This is when we say correlation, not causation. I can't say that part of the store is what's causing it, right? The same way we talk about the classic example of, I could have said description. People in college gain weight, right? The first year. Okay, I could describe. Liat gained 33 pounds. Martha gained 19 pounds. Julia gains 14 pounds, right? But prediction is when I start being like, what is it? What's covarying here, right? I can't say going to the college itself is making me gain weight. The same way I can't say that going into the store is what's causing this kid to tantrum. I'm going to look more specifically, okay? So I might say, wow, I notice whenever they're at the checkout aisle, this behavior is happening more. So like now I'm like, these 2 things are happening close to each other, right? Now we get to control, which is the highest level, right? And by the way, with the freshman 15 example, that would have been like, there are more like late night eating, there's more things at night, you're studying at night, you have an unlimited food card to go to the food court, right? Those could be things that are correlated, not necessarily causation. But now we get to control, okay? Control is when we're about to be like, this is the reason why. This is the reason why this kid is tantruming. This is the reason why you're gaining weight. This is the reason why Liat's getting more tasks done. This is the reason why Gia is dating assholes, okay? That's control. That's the highest level of scientific understanding. right? And control. This is the ability to predict with a certain degree of confidence why something is happening, right? And through experimentation, we could do this, right? I could be like, watch, I'll do it again. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to walk into the food aisle with him, push the cart. Wah! Okay, I'm literally, that's experimentation. Can I do it again? I'm really going to believe it if I have that repeatability, right? If I go down there again, watch this. We could go again. Let's go to the store tomorrow. We go in, different store, same aisle. He's crying. That's control. I'm like, no, trust me, there's control here. Watch this, right? We could do this with anything else. Why does my friend post these sexy pictures about herself? Liat posts 19 sexy pictures of herself a week. I'm pretty sure it's because she wants AJ Aaron to like her again from work, right? Every time that she posts with that deep V-neck, he puts a heart on the picture and comments on it. I'm pretty sure that's why she's doing it, right? So she does it again. Sure enough, that's a level of control. It's like, watch this. He hasn't given me attention in a while. Let me post this. I get a heart on it. I do it again. I get another heart. Now he even puts a fire emoji and a peach emoji and the sweating hot emoji. Now whatever I'm wearing in that picture, I'm doing again, right? That's control. So when we are looking at anything, why is this person doing this behavior? Why are all these people getting sick when they go here? Why are all these freshmen gaining weight? That's science, right? We take it from description, describing what's happening. Then we predict it. Then we're like, I'm actually going to control this shit. Watch this. I could turn the behavior on and off, right? So here we have the hashtag manipulation, manipulating the variables. We also talk about this in ABA with like when we're doing like manipulating, like, is this for attention? Let's see. I'm going to remove attention. The kid starts crying. Oh, no, 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 you're okay. Right? The behavior stops. It's like, let's see if it's for attention again. Okay, let me get on my phone. Let me text. They're crying. Oh, hey, stop fussing like that. Right? They stop. That's control. Right? We do it over and over. We're manipulating variables here. This is a hashtag causation. And this is when we find the hashtag functional relation. And the word functional relation, do you remember we used this hashtag on the page before? Which one did it go under? Anyone know? Tying these together?
Replication.
Experimentation. Experimentation.
Beautiful. Experimentation. Yep. And when we do it over and over, it could be tied to replication. You're right. And prediction. Oh, whoops. I should have written this here too. With prediction, we predict the conditional probability. We have a whole class on this of being like, why something's happening, like how, what's like, how likely is something happening because of something else. So the word we have here is also correlation. Okay. And I just realized that I said these things out loud, but I didn't write them. So objective should be under description. I know I said it, but I didn't write it. So prediction is that correlation. And by the way, at the prediction level, no variables are being manipulated. Are any variables being manipulated at the prediction level? No. No. Only at what level?
Control.
Control. Yes. Okay. So no variables are manipulated. Guys, guess what? Ta-da! You made it through all of class notes tonight. You made it through class 1. Just like that.
Woo!
So before we go any further, I'm just going to just check that you were listening. Let's see. Empiricism would fit best under which level of science?
Description.
Description, exactly. It's describing what's happening. Right, that's right. Which one do I want to do now? Which last one do I want to do? We said empiricism. Control is when we're starting to tie in, right? Like with parsimony. What's the simplest explanation of why something is happening?
Parasitism.
Yep. That is
Parsimony.
Yep. So parsimony, so just tell you the difference right
Parsimony.
next to each other one more time. Parsimony is the simplest explanation of why something's happening. Okay. Pragmatism is what's the most practical thing you're going to do about it that works, right? If I could have a kid, you know, do something solely with me saying good job or like nice work, right? Why do I need to put in a DRA, a this, a token economy, that, right? Like, why do I need to do all that if we could just make it simple? That's going to be that pragmatic approach. We don't want to overcomplicate interventions. Parents don't want it. Teachers don't want it, right? All right, everyone, guess what? You made it through class 1. Woo woo! Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have 2 pages of notes. Amazing. Now, at the end of every class, you will go do a knowledge check. In your account, you'll see it right on the side here. Like after Collective 1, you'll see end quiz. You'll go click that, take it. You'll have 5 questions. See how you do. And we're going to stay on to answer any questions. And then in class, we'll always be on with you to answer any questions. That's it. Then, so this is where the questions will be. Am I supposed to be doing them in class tonight? This is what it will look like. Let's do 1. Okay, we'll do 1.
Oh, I mean, it's, I would not, just
No.
my opinion, because they have to do it at the end of class, so.
Well, people are like listening in, so we'll just for tonight's one. You guys are going to go do this. All right, Carla's a 3rd grade teacher who's feeling frustrated after a chaotic morning. As she vents in the staff lounge, she says, I don't get it. Ethan just randomly exploded during morning work. One minute he was fine, the next minute he was screaming and flipping chairs. It came out of nowhere. Her teammate Jordan, who's also a BCBA, listens with empathy, but can't help noticing a red flag. Jordan knows nothing is ever truly random, and there's always a cause, even if it's subtle or hasn't been observed yet. Which attitude of science is Jordan relying on in her reaction to Carla's comment?
Determinism.
Oh, we have people. Okay, perfect. And by the way, we're not going to be answering them out loud in class, so you guys will be putting them in. But you have parsimony, empiricism, selectionism, and determinism. And you guys are really smart because the answer is determinism, right? Knowing that nothing happens random. All right, that is determinism. And in there, you'll see all the explanation as to why it's that. There's a long explanation. By the way, a mock exam or anything is only worth it if it gives you feedback as to why something is and why something is not the answer, right? So there you have it here. Determinism, because Jordan's showing attitude of determinism, the belief that behavior doesn't just happen. Nothing's out of nowhere. Even though the trigger of Ethan's outburst wasn't immediately obvious, Jordan's operating from the mindset that there is a cause. It just hasn't been identified yet. That's classic determinism, assuming lawful relations between behavior and the environment. Then we go through to tell you why it is not any of the other ones. And by the way, reading why the other answers are not it is the most important thing you could do in mock questions, right? Because you know why it is not parsimony, right? If she was trying to explain Ethan's behavior using the most simple explanation, then it would have been parsimony, but she's not, right? Empiricism is about gathered observations, which this has nothing to do with. So we're not measuring anything yet. X that out. Selectionism refers to how behavior is shaped over time and what we continue to do over lifetimes or generations. Jordan isn't talking anything about a learning history. So there is no selectionism. So the answer here is determinism. I really tell you to always read the feedback. All right, everyone, now it's time for you to open your app up, or if you have a piece of paper, whatever, with the test content outline, we are going to mark off the 2 items of the task list we have covered. That's A1, identifying the goals of behavior analysis as a science, and A2, explain the philosophical assumptions underlying the science of ABA. Okay, throughout the entire collective, you will eventually have crossed off every single item on the task list. Now, for reading for next class, you need to read Cooper, Chapter 1, pages 7 to 24, and Chapter 2, page 25 to 32. And in your account, we have the article, the Bear, Wolf, and Risley article, Some 7 Dimensions of ABA. That is in your account, a long OG article that you got to read. And tonight's assignment also has to watch Ethics Section 1. Everyone, you will see this in your syllabus. That is all I have for you tonight. We're going to stay on to answer any questions you have. Remember, we are here for you for whatever you need. With that, thanks for coming, everyone. We can go ahead and answer your questions.
And we love you and we mean it, man.
And we love you and we mean it. And any questions you do have, I should just add here, or any emails that you need, I should have had a slide here that says any questions you may have. Oops.
I'm gonna wait to stop the recording until you
Contact at StudyNotesABA.com. Okay, any questions you have? We'll make that slide for next time. All right, everyone. Thank you. Okay, we're here for questions.